The message that I have to people is that we have been through this together and we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot, and I think we appreciate each other's roles in ways that we may not have seen before. We've seen the challenges. I mean, there are many challenges to our healthcare system, and physicians are on the front lines of that. But these challenges existed before the pandemic. They were made worse in many ways acutely through this pandemic. But we've also seen that when we come together, we can actually connect and make a difference in a meaningful way, whether it's in primary care and speeding up that switch to virtual care and being able to support our patients and our communities through that. The critical care network that supported physicians and the people who needed critical care across the province. We have done some amazing things to support people and keep people well, and to support them when they get sick through this pandemic. So I think we need to remember that. Where I come from, we have a saying that common suffering builds strong bonds. And we have strong bonds now, and we need to use that. We need to use that to support each other, to rebuild, and to rebuild in a way that recognizes some of the long-standing issues that we've had with our healthcare system. Collaboration is everything. It's, I talk about kindness, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later this morning. I talk about kindness, and kindness is the root of it is in kin, in that we have a connection with each other, and that we recognize that my ability to do something and to get through the day even sometimes is dependent on my own resiliency, but it's also dependent on that of the people around me. So that connection, that collaboration, that working together, especially when times are tough, when we don't know what's going on, when things are changing, that's what helps us all get through. There's so many things that have surprised me. I've surprised me how people have really come together, and it's gone through different phases, and we've seen that. But very early on, one of the things that surprised me most is being recognized. And I know that I'm the face and the voice of a very strong team, a public health team of public health physicians, but also a health system team. And I talk to physicians a lot, colleagues, friends, the people who've been leaders in different communities. I've tried to visit a lot of them. And it really has shown me the critical role that we play in supporting our communities. And we do that by working together, by taking that extra moment to be with each other. I look back on the things that I've done in my life, and in some ways I think it sort of set me up for this. I spent a lot of time trying to understand how to best support people when we're in crises. And I talk about words, how we approach things matters. And I think that's important here in BC. We've done that. We've tried to approach it from a point of view of we're all in this together. We're all in the same storm, and certainly we're in the same storm globally, but we're not all in the same boat. So being able to take that step back and recognize that somebody may be reacting because they're afraid, or because their past experiences don't help them, don't give them the tools to deal with what they're faced with right now, and that we can make a difference in that. And I think I've seen that in how people have reacted here in BC, and that's what gives me hope. I really believe that we have seen things now that have exposed inequities that have existed for a long time, whether it's in our healthcare system or in society at large. We've seen that racialized communities, Indigenous peoples, women, people of lower incomes have been more negatively affected by the pandemic and by the measures that we've put in place to manage the pandemic. And we can't unsee that. We need to take that, and we need to collectively now work on how do we make it better and more just. And that's the passion I have right now. I think we can emerge from this, and we can choose to emerge from this, making a difference, continuing to see those things. But also, I also, in those moments of fear and anxiety that we've been through together, there's been moments of beauty and joy. And we need to remember those two. We can emerge from this remembering those times of joy. And that's what keeps us going. Physicians are leaders, whether we want to be or not. We're leaders in our unit in the hospital, we're leaders in our community as family doctors, and we've been through the same crisis as everybody else, and we've shown that role that we play is so important. It's important for our own community, supporting healthcare workers, supporting the work that we do, but it's also really important in helping uplift our community. So we really need to take from this lifting each other up and remembering that we have seen healthcare workers across the spectrum take on new and different roles and a new respect for the work that we do. And I'm hopeful that we'll be able to translate that into a more robust and stronger system that makes it less difficult for us as physicians and other healthcare workers, but also provides that connection and care for people that we really need. There have been so many barriers. There's so many people who don't want change. If we have not seen now the need for changing the system, then we never will. And we have that opportunity. We have government who's supporting us to change the system. We have the ability. We can see where some of the issues are, and we need to take this opportunity. We have a responsibility, I believe, to take this opportunity, and as physicians, to lead that.